Good morning. I'm Angelo Castro III, and welcome to our coverage of President Bongbong Marcos's fourth State of the Nation address, which is happening today at Batasang Pambansa. It will begin around 3 or 4 p.m. But in a few hours, President Bongbong Marcos will finally deliver his fourth State of the Nation, marking the midpoint of his term. Marcos is expected to report on key promises like the 20 peso rice transport buildup and the POGO ban. He is also expected to clarify the government's stance on online gambling and justify his recent tariff deal with the U.S. The president has also been urged to provide updates on flooding infrastructure projects and anti-corruption drive. Malacanang said Marcos is focused on showing what his government has done. And what's next? And now let's check the situation over at the Senate. We have with us a mobile journalist, Merimon Reyes. Merimon.
Magandang umaga, Angelo. Anytime magsisimula na yung formal na pagbubukas ng regular session ng Senado sa ilalim ng 20th Congress. At kanina nga, since in-order ni Senate President Escudero yung pagpapatanggal ng red carpet, meron na lamang red ribbon na nakapaligid doon sa dadaanan ng mga senador at senadora patungo nga sa session hall. Nakita natin na ilan na sa mga dumating dito ay sila Senadora Risa Hontiveros, Senatora Rodante Marcoleta, Senator Bato de la Rosa kasama ang kanyang wife na si Miss Nancy Comandante. Even si Papal Nuncio, Charles Brown, nandito siya. So sa loob nitong umaga, asahan din natin na part ng agenda talaga nila ay yung election for the Senate leadership. So makikita natin kung si Senate President Escudero ba according doon sa sinasabi nga noong mga lumipas sa linggo na nakuha niya ang super majority or 18 senators na susuporta sa kanya, makikita natin mamaya kung mananatili ba siya sa liderato or kung magkakaroon kaya ng turnaround pagdating sa botohan dahil nga isa pa sa lumulutang ang pangalan si Senator Tito Soto. Pero kung sakali, usually kasi kung sino ang hindi mananalo doon sa election for Senate presidency, usually siya na ang magiging Senate Minority Leader. Nasabi naman dyan ni Senator Tito, bukas naman daw siya kung sakaling doon nga siya mapupunta. A few hours from now din, bago ang State of the Nation address ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, ilan sa sinasabi ng mga lawmaker dito, gusto talaga nila magkaroon ng simplicity itong seremonya ngayong araw na to. So wala yung red carpet, simplehan lang, hindi ito magiging fashion walk, hindi rin sobrang magiging magarbo. And base sa mga nakita natin kanina, mga barong Tagalog mga simpleng regal Filipiniana yung nakita nating suot ng ilan sa mga senadora. Pero they are hoping na sana mamaya mapag-uusapan na sa SONA ni Pangulong Marcos is yung infrastructure projects, flood control measures at titignan din natin kung magkakaroon kaya ng pagbabanggit tungkol doon sa online gaming o gambling itong si Pangulong Marcos. Balik sa'yo.
Yeah, meron man pag-usapan natin kasi I remembered, I think it was 2 weeks ago, nag-usap tayo about Senate leadership na meron na ngang number of senators that have expressed their intent to support SP Chief Escudero. Pero parang ang pinag-usapan natin noon at that time, wala pang pumipirma talaga. Ang question ko is, may narinig ka ba kung ilan na ang possible magiging signatures ni former Senate President Tito Soto?
Actually, Angelo, yung lumipas na linggo, ang sinasabi sa atin kasi ng mga senador, pumipirma raw sila pero hindi nila nakikita kung yung pangalan daw nung ibang mga senador na pipirma doon sa supposed resolution. Kasi raw maliit lang daw ito. So far until ngayon, ang numero na meron tayo is mula doon sa 24, 18 senators yung sinasabing magpapakita ng o nagpapakita ng suporta kay SP Cheese. Pero ang usually pagdating dito, yung majority na kailangan lang talaga para magwagi nga doon sa liderato is 13 over 24. So kung sakaling magpatuloy na sa botohan, 18 talaga ang mananatiling boboto dito kay SP Cheese, magpapatuloy talaga siya sa liderato. Pero
meron mo kasi ang inaabangan ng marami, yung magiging galaw ni Senator Bam Aquino at ni Senator Kiko Pangilinan. Kasi it's been in the news, di ba, recently na supposedly mag-majority sila, which was medyo negative ang naging reaction ng mga tao. So, anong naririnig mo, Merimon? Does it look like that they will vote for SP Cheese? Kasi automatic yan. If they vote for SP Cheese at naging Senate President, majority sila.
Kanina nung pagdating ni Senator Bam dito sa mismong pasukan nila papunta sa session hall, sinubukan nating makapanayam siya at matanong nga yung kanyang magiging alignment dito sa
Ah.
Senado. Kaso medyo naging tikom ang bibig ng senador, kaya baka sa loob nitong umaga na to, doon natin makikita talaga yung final alignment nila. And so far, ang pinaka narinig natin at nakapanayam natin, ito nga si Senator Mig Zubiri, pero ang topic kasi yung tungkol doon sa impeachment case laban kay VP
Yun,
Sara
oo.
na dineklara nga ng Supreme Court as unconstitutional. Ang nasabi dito ni Senadora Zubiri, wag daw nilang i-defy. Para daw sa kanya, wag na raw nilang i-defy yung order ng Korte Suprema. So pagdating doon sa supposedly pagre-reconvene ng Senado bilang impeachment court, titignan ba natin kung ano nga ba yung magiging desisyon dyan, lalong-lalo na nitong mga incoming senators. Angelo.
Kailan sila mag-reconvene? Kasi although gusto nga i-define ng iba, but may mga ibang key senators, mas lalo yung mga bagito, na nagsabi, wait, hindi kami kailangan sumunod because we are a different branch altogether. I think that was Senator Tito Soto, you had Senator Bam Aquino, very vocal, Senator Kiko Pangilinan. Mukhang tumataas din ang numero na nagki-question sa decision ng Supreme Court.
Tama, kasama din dyan na itong si Senadora Risa Ontiveros na nag-explain o nag-express ng kanyang pagkadismaya doon nga sa lumabas na desisyon ng Korte Suprema. Supposedly, kung hindi nagkaroon ng ganitong announcement ang Supreme Court itong lumipas na linggo, around after nito, 1 week, so mga August 4, doon natin naasahan talaga yung reconvening ng Senado bilang impeachment court. Pero since nagkaroon ng ganitong desisyon ang Korte Suprema, maaari ngayon kung mapag-uusapan man mabilisan, panandalian, o kaya naman ay bukas talaga sa kanilang sa next sessions, mapag-uusapan at mapagdedesisyonan itong impeachment case laban sa bise. Pero so far ngayon kasi umaga, bago sila magtungo nga sa batasan para sa SONA, unahin talaga, part talaga ng agenda nila is yung botohan para sa liderato. Balik sa'yo.
Yeah, meron mo nakikita ko yung live feed ngayon, no? Nagsisimula na atang session. May mga balita ka ba na, although it's officially, no, as 20th Congress na tayo, may balita ka ba if today din magkakaroon at least ng assignment sa mga major committees para sa mga senador?
Maaari, yun din yung nasabi sa atin na last time ni na SP Cheese na yung pagdating doon sa organization ng committees, kung sino yung mag-chair dito or mag-vice chair, maaari rin ngayong masimulan na. Pero since kailangan pa raw itong i-assign, mapag-uusapan din daw syempre kung sino ang matutoka sa mga ito, pwede ring abutin naman ng ilang araw. Pero hindi malabo na maaari magsimula na talaga yun, yung pag-oorganisa ng mga subcommittee ng Senado.
Meron mo until what time sila magkakaroon ng session kasi and what time will they head over to yung batasan?
Usual, ang travel time kasi mula dito sa Pasay papunta doon sa Batasan pa Commonwealth is around 1 hour plus traffic pa yan, so pwedeng lumagpas pa. So inaasahan natin na by noon or hindi man naabot na nga sobrang late sa hapon, matatapos sa itong session nila plus lunch break, tapos sabay-sabay na sila nga tutungo nga sa Batasan. So hopefully, bago rin na makarating si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, makapwesto na rin doon ang mga senador.
Baka you can confirm sa amin, Marymon, sino sa mga senador? Kasi si Senator Bato hindi pupunta sino pa ang ibang hindi pupunta sa SONA ni PBBM?
By personal choice nga raw, sabi ni Senator Bato, yung hindi niya raw pagpunta mamaya sa SONA kasi nga meron daw siyang ilang mga kongresista o kaya daw mga tao raw sa Malacanang na ayaw niya na raw makipagplastikan. Pero nung natanong natin, for example, kung sa Duterte Block ba, meron pang makakasama niya na hindi pupunta. Ang sabi niya, depende raw ito sa magiging desisyon talaga ng mga senador. So sa ngayon, wala pa tayo nakukumpirmang iba bukod kay Senator Bato na hindi pupunta sa SONA mamaya.
So si Senator Robin Padilla hindi rin nagparamdam kung ano desisyon niya?
Hindi rin, hindi pa talaga. Medyo, sa ngayon kasi medyo tikom pa yung bibig ng mga ito, yung ilang mga senador. Ang nagkukumpirma pa lang talaga is si Senator Bato. Pero either itong ilang mga senador naman, halimbawa sina Senator Kiko Pangilinan, Bam Aquino, asahan daw natin yung pagpunta talaga nila mamaya. Pero for Senator Bato, last week pa lang sinabi niya na hindi siya pupunta sa SONA.
How about si the presidential sister? Kasi alam naman natin, Marymon, magkaroon ng lamat ang dalawang yung magkapatid.
Tama, yan din yung inaabangan natin ngayon. Pero sa ngayon kasi even last week na sinusubukan din nating matanong kaya Senadora Aimee, so far hindi pa rin nakukumpirma kung pupunta ba siya or hindi.
I'd like to go backtrack before I let you go in a bit, no, Marymon. Yung sinabi mo, nakausap mo si Senator Mig Zubiri. Kasi si Senator Migs, regarding online gambling, total ban siya. Pero nagkakaproblema sa lower house and ibang senador kasi yung iba regulate ang stance nila. So may naririnig ka ba kung what will happen regarding it? Is he willing to regulate or does he remain firm in his stance on total ban?
Tulad ni Senadora Migs, marami din ang nag-file kasi ng kanya-kanyang panukala para nga dito either total ban or regulation. Kasama na dyan sina Senator Bongo, sina Senadora Risa Ontiveros, even ang magkapatid na Cayetano, gusto rin talaga nilang matugis itong online na gaming or gambling. Pero ang pare-parehong sinasabi nila, kung sakaling magkakaroon ng adjustments, mas maganda raw na mapag-aralan talaga kung paano tamang maaatake itong ang sinasabing issue na nagiging addiction ng mga Pilipino pagdating sa online na gambling o gaming.
And then, last na to, Mary Mon, may narinig ka ba ano expectation sa mga senator marinig? Especially, a lot of them have been vocal about yung supposed flood control projects na pinangako ni PBBM, PRE-SONA straight. Hanggang ngayon, ang sinasabi ng iba, wala pa naman improvement.
Tama. Bukod dyan, ang ine-expect nila na sana raw mapag-usapan is yung major infrastructure project. Sabi niya ni Senator J.B. Harris, ito dahil nga raw, dito raw nakikita yung magiging investment ng direct foreign investors. At since nasa gitnaan na tayo ng termino nga ng Pangulo, sana raw mapag-usapan ito. Bukod dyan, flood control projects, even ang iba pang maliliit na issue at isa pa nga sa pinaka-hinihintay nga nila kung sakali man, sana nga raw matalakay ang online gaming o gambling.
All right, I will keep in touch. Thank you for the updates, mobile journalist Mary Mon Reyes. In the meantime, we have the opening of the 20th session, 20th Congress officially, and I will be taking you to what's going on in the Senate.
We shall now proceed with the formal oath-taking of the newly elected senators. May we request the aforementioned newly elected senators to kindly
KFC.
rise in order that you may take your oath from your respective seats. Please raise your hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name. Having been elected to the position of senator, do hereby solemnly swear that I will well and faithfully discharge to the best of my ability the duties of my present position hereafter hold under the Republic of the Philippines, that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines, that I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities, and maintain true faith and allegiance to the Republic of the Philippines, and that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations. Secretary will please call the roll.
Roll call of members, the Honorable Senator Aquino, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Hontiveros, Senator Lacson, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcoleta, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pangilinan, Senator Soto, Senator Tulfo Erwin, Senator Tulfo Rafi, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Camille, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri, Senate President Escudero.
With 24 senators present, Chair hereby declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader,
Mr. President, I move that we suspend the session.
any objection? Hearing none, session is suspended.
Now, as we await President Bongbong Marcos' fourth State of the Nation address, let's revisit the key moments from his third SONA. Here is the recap.
One of the most talked about moments in President Bongbong Marcos's third State of the Nation address was his surprise announcement to ban pogos. The president instructed PAGCOR to cease all pogo operations, pointing to crimes and abuses that have long been associated with the industry.
Naririnig po namin ang malakas na sigaw ng taong bayan laban sa mga pogo. Disguising as legitimate entities, their operations have ventured into illicit areas furthest from gaming, such as financial scamming, money laundering, prostitution, human trafficking, kidnapping, brutal torture, even murder. The grave abuse and disrespect to our system of laws must stop. Kailangan nang itigil ang panggulo nito sa ating lipunan at paglalapastangan sa ating bansa. Effective today, all pogos are banned.
Another major highlight was the West Philippine Sea. With a firm stance, Marcos declared that the Philippines will never yield nor waver in asserting its sovereign rights.
The Philippines cannot yield. The Philippines cannot waver. We are continuing to strengthen our defensive posture, both through developing self-reliance and through partnerships with like-minded states. Ang West Philippine Sea ay hindi katang-isip natin lamang. Ito ay atin. Ito ay At ito ay mananatiling atin hanggat nag-aalab ang diwa ng ating minamahal na bansang Pilipinas.
The statement earned a standing ovation as he vowed to enforce laws in maritime zones and archipelagic sea lanes, calling it intergenerational mandate for every Filipino. He also thanked the armed forces, the Coast Guard, and the country's fisherfolk who continue to defend Philippine waters every day. The president didn't shy away from economic issues either. He admitted that rice remains too expensive for many Filipinos. To address this, he promised stronger support for the agricultural sector, vowing to boost local production and help bring prices down.
The hard lesson of this last year has made it very clear that whatever current data proudly bannering our country as among the best performing in Asia means nothing to a Filipino who is confronted by the price of rice at 45 to 65 pesos per kilo. Because of compelling emergency reasons, such as illegal price manipulations by hoarders and smuggling, we were constrained to temporarily implement mandated price ceilings on rice. Extended the reduced tariff rates to facilitate the importation of rice, corn, and pork until the end of this year. Tinitiyak ko sa ating mga magsasaka at sa buong sektor ng agrikultura na ang mga ito ay pawang panggipitang solusyon lamang.
Other key takeaways from SONA 2024 included a directive for the Department of Education to address the country's widening digital gap. The president also touted what he described as a bloodless drug war.
And for more of the latest updates on President Bongbong Marcos's fourth SONA, we have with us Angelo Castro live from Batasan, Pambansa. Angel.
Hi there, Go. You're right, we're here right now at the Batasan Pambansa complex wherein all eyes were here for the fourth State of the Nation address of President Bongbong Marcos Jr. And actually, this is the 87th na SONA na in the history of the Philippines. And right now, if you take a look at my area here, dito tayo ngayon sa north wing ng Batasan Complex. At pag tinignan nyo rin ang south wing naman ng Batasan, ganun din, wala pong nakalatag na red carpet. Ngayon, ito po ay because in alignment with the prior announcement of House of Representatives through its House Speaker Martin Romualdez na dapat tone down muna ang ating kapaligiran ngayon. No show of pageantry dahil para tayo ay makiisa doon nga sa ating mga kababayan na recently naapektuhan ng mga pag-ulan dulot nga ng habagat at Typhoon Sing, Dante at Pomo. At as I've said, dito po sa area na to sa North Wing, papayagan pa rin dumaan ang ilang mga politiko kung nandito nila. Pero pagbibigyan din ang mga media dito para makapaliyam sila kahit saglit lamang. And also, dito rin sa area na to, sabi ng according to Department of Foreign Affairs, 85 diplomatic corps are confirmed to witness the State of the Nation address of PBBM later today at 4 p.m. At sa labas naman, going here, no, medyo na-late tayo ng pagpasok dahil napaka-traffic. Nakakita tayo bandang Evergotesco papunta ng St. Peter's Church, yung bulto ng traffic doon dahil nandoon na nakaset up ang ating mga pulis. Higit more than 10,000 ang nakadeploy doon ng mga pulis para nga doon sa pagbabantay ng seguridad nitong area. Doon din doon sa mga magrarally sa labas. 2022, abangan din natin ngayon kung ano yung magiging pinaka-slogan or tagline ng State of the Nation address si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. If you can remember, 2022, sabi niya, the State of the Nation is sound. 2023, sabi niya, overall, the State of the Nation is sound and improving. At last year, sa kanyang naging SONA, sabi niya, bagong Pilipinas has arrived. At isa din sa mga tinutukan natin ng kanyang SONA last year, yung sabi niya, no, ang pagban ng pogo all over our country. So today, aabangan natin kung ano ba yung mga sinasabi natin pasabog na maaari niyang sabihin because nakatutok nga lahat dito sa magiging State of the Nation address. We are also, kanina na-witness natin doon sa Senate na nanumpa na yung ating mga senador doon at wala namang nangyaring pagpapalit ng liderato. At ganun din ang aasahan natin dito sa Congress. Sinasabi nga natin prior to this event pa ay malakas na at matatag ang suporta para kay House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Kaya inaasahan na siya pa rin ang tatayong House Speaker dito sa 20th Congress. Diego.
No. Go, sige, we'll get back to you in a bit, Angel. But for the meantime, babalik muna kami sa Senate kasi nagsimula ang session nila a while ago and we have with us our live feed. So thank you. Here, we'll take you back to what's happening at the Senate.
Ating naisabatas at ngayon ay pinapatupad po ng ating pamahalaan pang nasyonal. So with that, Mr. President, it is my great honor, it is with great honor to second the nomination of Senate President Chis Escudero.
Thank you, Senator Gatchalian. Acting Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, I move that Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa be recognized to second the nomination.
Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, as your attorney, it is my honor to express my profound support for one of the sharpest, most intelligent senators I have ever had the privilege of working with. A real attorney with a heart, Senator Chis Escudero. He whose nomination I have the honor of seconding. So we may call once again him Senate President. I admit that I started as a reluctant supporter of our Senate President, caught up in the whirlwind of events at the time. I gave the kind of support that was almost synonymous with surrender, with raised hands and tear-stained eyes, as if to say, wala na rin akong magagawa. But in the last few months of the 19th Congress, he showed us how his steady hand and calm voice shielded the Senate from anything that gets in the way of our sworn duty to the people, from any threat to our mandate. Whether or not it is a coincidence that Escudero means shield bearer, I do not know. But of this, I am sure, Senator Cheese has more than lived up to his name, safeguarding the Senate. In Senate President Escudero, we find exactly a leader who stands firmly at the forefront, ensuring that amid political fires, the Senate remains to be a body of still water that runs deep, reflective of the views and interests of the people. However, unlike a cold metal shield, his leadership warms our heart. With his almost transcendental adeptness, he comes up with a compassionate solution that works for all parties, especially for the Filipino people. And now, as I offer my support, once again, it is no longer an act of defeat or surrender. No longer to say, wala akong magagawa. Instead, it is one of conviction. We are making the right decision. The shield-bearer leader with a heart is the right choice. Maraming salamat, Mr. President, and I look forward to all that we shall accomplish in the 20th Congress.
Thank you, Senator Bato de la Rosa, the Acting Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, I move that Senator Raffy Tulfo be recognized to second the demonstration.
Senator Raffy Tulfo is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. My dear colleagues, today I rise not just to nominate a leader, but to honor a legacy of service, an unwavering commitment to the Filipino people. I proudly support the nomination of Senator Francis Cheese Escudero. More than anything, his experience and record in public service speaks for itself. From his early days as one of the youngest lawmakers in Congress to his role as Senate President during the 20th Congress, Senator Escudero has consistently championed legislation that uplifts lives. Under his leadership, the Senate passed key measures that strengthen our sovereignty, boost our economy, and protect our most vulnerable. But beyond the bills and titles, Senator Escudero brings leadership with heart. Matibay na puso ang kailangan upang pagtagpuin ang 23 magkakaiba na opinyon dito sa Senado at ibalanse ang mga ito sa direksyon na nais tahakin ng ehekutibo. He may have faced criticism for some decision taken as Senate President, but he made sure that those decisions were backed by sound reason and solid legal basis. As a leader, he was able to handle 23 hard-headed and strong-willed individuals with 23 different advocacies and opinions. Kaya naman, malaki ng respeto ko sa trabaho ng isang Senate President. So today, with full confidence in his ability to lead, to listen, and to deliver, I nominate Senator Francis Cheese Escudero because our nation deserves nothing less. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Raffy Tulfo. Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, I move that Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri be recognized for his nomination.
Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri is hereby recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Akala ko mali din yung pangalan ko. You read it right. Dear my dear colleagues, I have the honor of nominating for the Senate presidency a tried and tested leader of this august chamber, a workhorse like no other, and a man who can strengthen the public trust in this institution in even the most turbulent times. No other than Senator Vicente C. Soto III. Senator Soto's track record speaks for itself. He's a veteran among veterans, beginning his career in public service as Vice Mayor of Quezon City in 1998, during which time he established the Vice Mayor's League of the Philippines, and by 1992, he began his first term in the Senate. He has been a hardline anti-drug champion throughout his public service career, spearheading the passage of the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002 and the Anti-Drunk and Drug Driving Act of 2012. In the realm of the executive, he also served as the chairman of the Dangerous Drugs Board in 2008 before his return to the Senate in 2010. Other notable laws to his name are the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Council Act, the Children's Emergency Relief and Protection Act, the National Athletes Coach and Trainers Benefits and Incentives Act, and the Motorcycle Crime Prevention Act, as well as the Bayanihan to Heal as One Act and the Doktor para sa Bayan Act. Throughout his 24 years in the Senate, as a testament to his great skill as a leader and a consensus builder, he has gained the trust of various sets of senators to serve as majority leader, as deputy minority leader, and ultimately as Senate President. Having served in various leadership roles in the Senate, Senator Soto perhaps has developed a deep understanding of our rules and traditions, and more importantly, the gravity of upholding them. He does not just know our rules inside out, he also knows what chaos and instability will ensue if we fail to honor them. The Senate stands for more than just a legislative function. It stands for the very best of our nation's democratic ideals. And as Senate President, Senator Soto was a traditionalist in the very best sense of the word, protecting the Senate's stand and legacy as a nation's last bastion of democracy. He led, and I'd like to add for the record that there was one time that his leadership was challenged because of his role of protecting each and every chairman, to allow each and every chairman the leeway to act in accordance to their committee's structure and the ideals of their committee. And he never meddled with these traditions of the Senate. No. As a traditionalist, he's protecting always the Senate's standing and legacy as the nation's last bastion of democracy. He led with fairness and transparency and led as primus inter pares, first among equals. Walang linalamangan, ika nga. Under his leadership, the Senate had a healthy spirit and exchange of debates between the members. But also a spirit of unity that inspired trust and confidence in the Filipino people. As his majority leader during his term as Senate President, I have seen firsthand his commitment to this institution and how he led by example. For instance, he was always present and on time, walang absent. If there's anyone in this institution that claimed the perfect attendance, it is him as well since the start of his legislative career, together with myself since 1998. I guess with him it's 1992. To show his commitment to the institution as a legislator, he led definitely by example. For instance, even during the time of COVID, we were all online, Mr. President. All of us were online. I was in Cagayan de Oro as majority leader because there was a lockdown. Senator Soto, Mr. President, was present all the time in the session floor, in the exact podium where the presiding officer is sitting right now. To be able to open session, even at an elder age, he was a senior citizen. He was not afraid to come to the Senate and to start the sessions in that podium, Your Honors. Ikaw na lang ang mahihiya pag naunahan ka niya sa session hall, pag kayo'y late. And I'd like to give a short anecdote on that. As a matter of fact, those days, I would be late sometimes. As many of you know, sometimes I'm late for my meetings. But as majority leader, the Senate President Soto would always start session at 3 p.m., regardless if we were here or not. And I could recall a few times, he would start session at 3 p.m. and suspend to await my arrival. Siyempre, nakakahiya po yan. And I learned my lesson not to be late anymore. It was quite embarrassing, actually. But that was Senator Soto, he was a stickler for the rules and traditions. At bilang Senate President, lagi siyang handa para sa lahat na nangyayari at mangyayari sa Senado. From the day-to-day grind of the legislative mill to the long-term timelines for our priority measures. Ika nga, walang trabahong maliit at walang problemang malaki para kay Senator Soto. Tito Sen was on top of everything and the Senate functioned smoothly under his guidance. So my dear colleagues, let us elect a leader who can help the Senate rise above the noise and establish itself once again as an institution dedicated to nothing but the best interests of the Filipino people. Let us elect Senator Vicente C. Soto III as our Senate President. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay ang Senado.
Thank you, Senator Migs Subiri, Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, I move that Senator Lauren Legarda be recognized to second the nomination.
Senator Lauren Legarda is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. It is my honor to second the nomination of Senator Vicente C. Soto III for the Senate presidency. A former Senate President and the most seasoned member of this chamber, now in his 5th Senate term, Senator Soto brings unmatched institutional memory and legislative experience, as well as a firm grasp of the discipline and the decorum that this august institution demands. He understands both the weight of the Senate's traditions and the demands of principled dissent, qualities that powerfully distinguish his ability to lead the Senate. I was in my first term in 1998 till 2004. I was the majority leader in 2001, and he was the minority leader. Fast forward on my 3rd term, he was a Senate president for many years, and I was his trusted chairman of the Committee on Finance. We've worked together for more than 25 years, and I can attest to his discipline that he will lead with transparency, discipline, decorum, accountability, and many more, the traits needed by the institution at this time. This designation affirms our commitment to a Senate that is discerning and grounded in democratic principles, engaging in the work of legislation with integrity, transparency, accountability, and independence. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Lauren Legarda, Majority Leader.
Mr. President, there are no other nominations. I therefore move that we close the period of nomination and proceed to vote for the position of the President of the Senate.
Is there any second? Senator Alan, Peter? Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved. We shall now proceed to vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senator Aquino, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Escudero, Senator Ejercito, Senator Estrada,
Escudero.
Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Hontiveros, Senator Lacson, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcoleta, Senator Marcos, Escudero.
What is the vote?
Escudero.
Hina.
Escudero.
Ba't mahina?
Senator Padilla, Senator Pangilinan,
And I'd like to explain my vote after the voting.
Senator Soto, Senator Tulfo Erwin, Senator Tulfo Rafi, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Camille, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri, Lapid Escudero.
There are 19 votes in favor of Senator Francis Chis Escudero and 5 votes in favor of Senator Vicente Soto. Senator Francis Chis Escudero is therefore elected President of the Senate. Senator Francis Pangilinan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Congratulations to Senate President Escudero, maybe. Mr. President, fellow senators, please allow me to explain my vote.
Please proceed.
In the last 2025 elections, despite what critics said was a campaign headed for defeat, we defied the odds and pulled off a come-from-behind win and landed in the top 5. Starved of much-needed resources, our ragtag team of mostly volunteers fought tooth and nail, tao sa tao, mano a mano, house to house, SOCMED account by SOCMED account. It was a bruising, hard-fought victory, and we campaigned daily for over 6 months throughout the country under one banner. Pababain ang presyo ng bigas at pagkain. Palakasin ang hanay ng magsasaka, mangingisda at agrikultura. It is a banner I know well. For over 15 years now, I have carried it in the legislative branch as chairperson of the Agriculture Committee from 2010 to 2013, and then again from 2016 to 2017. In 2014 and 2015, I carried it more forcefully in the Executive Department as Food Security Secretary, heading the critical agencies such as, and namely, National Food Authority, National Irrigation Administration, Philippine Coconut Authority, and the Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority. In a period of just 1 year during our stint, with the full backing of former President Aquino, we won a major battle for the Filipino people. Panalo ang kababayan natin dahil natigil natin ang pagtaas ng presyo ng bigas at napababa pa ito ng
Well, what you just witnessed right now and what you're seeing right now is the Senate voting for the Senate President, which opened up, by the way, with Senator Bato and Senator Tulfo nominating Senator Escudero for the Senate presidency. And for Tito Soto, you had Senator Mig Zubiri and Senator Loren Legarda also opening the nomination for former Senate President Tito Soto. And it was a battle between youth and tradition, with eventually Senator Chis Escudero garnering 19 votes and Senator Tito Soto 5 votes. Therefore, Senate President Chis Escudero retains his position as the Senate President. But right now we also have the ongoing voting for the speakership back at the House of Representatives. Let's take you there.
Conviction, a unifier, a reformer, a partner of the President, and a champion of the people. Let us entrust the speakership to a man who has already shown us what dignified, decisive, and compassionate leadership looks like. Let us reaffirm our commitment to good governance by placing the gavel once more in capable and steady hands. I respectfully nominate the Honorable Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez as the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the 20th Congress. Mabuhay ang ating Kongreso. Mabuhay ang sambayan ng Pilipino. Maraming salamat po sa ating lahat.
Acting Floor Leader. Mr. Presiding Officer, I move to recognize the Honorable Ferdinand Alexander A. Marcos from the 1st District of Ilocos Norte to second the nomination.
The Honorable Ferdinand Alexander A. Marcos is recognized.
Mr. Presiding Officer, distinguished colleagues, on behalf of the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas, I rise today with profound pride and resolute conviction to formally second the nomination of the esteemed gentleman from the 1st District of Leyte, the Honorable Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez, for the position of Speaker of House of Representatives in the 20th Congress.
Acting Floor Leader.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I move to recognize the Honorable Wilfredo Mark M. Enverga from the 1st District of Quezon to second the nomination.
The Honorable Wilfredo Mark M. Enverga is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Presiding Officer, honorable colleagues, esteemed members of this chamber. On behalf of the Nationalist People's Coalition, I am deeply honored and proud to second the nomination of Honorable Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez as Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Acting Floor Leader.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I move to recognize the Honorable Ronaldo V. Puno from the 1st District of Antipolo to second the nomination.
The Honorable Ronaldo B. Puno is recognized.
Honorable Presiding Officer, my dearest colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the National Unity Party, with profound gratitude for his dedicated service during the 19th Congress, and with hopes for an even greater nation under his continued leadership of the 20th Congress, I have the honor to second the nomination of the Honorable Representative from the 1st District of Leyte, Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez, as Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Acting Floor Leader.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I move to recognize the Honorable Yevgeny Vicente B. Imano from the 2nd District of Misamis Oriental to second the nomination.
The Honorable Evgeny Vicente Emano is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Colleagues, friends, members of the House, in behalf of Nationalista Party, the oldest party in the Republic, it is with great honor and pride that I second the motion as our Speaker, Honorable Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Acting Floor Leader.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I move to recognize the Honorable Raymond Democrito C. Mendoza from the TUCP party list to second the nomination.
The Honorable Raymond Democratico C. Mendoza is recognized.
Daghang salamat, Mr. Presiding Officer. Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of PCFI, the party list, Coalition Foundation, Inc., led by our President, Representative Zaldico, with confidence and with admiration, I second the nomination of the Honorable Ferdinand Martin Gomez Romualdez as Speaker of the House of Representatives. Daghang salamat.
Acting Floor Leader.
Mr. Presiding Officer, there being no other nominations for the position of Speaker, I move to close the table of nominations.
Mr. President, the Honorable There is a motion to close the table for nominations for the position of Speaker of the House of Representatives. There being no objection, the motion is carried. Acting Floor Leader.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I move to proceed with the election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
There is a motion to proceed to the election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives. There being no objection, the motion is approved. The election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives is now in order. The Deputy Secretary of the Legislative Operations Department will now call the roll of members. May we request members, upon being called, to state the name of the candidate they are voting for as Speaker of the House of Representatives without any need for explanation.
Roll call of members for the election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Honorable Representatives Abalos. Abante.
I fully support Speaker Martin Romualdez as the Speaker of the House of Representatives in the 20th Congress. May I explain, Presiding Officer, my vote? Lana, gusto na i-explain.
Mr. Presiding Officer, with the kind indulgence of the Honorable Abante, let's proceed with the voting without explanation.
Asidre.
Thank you, Kong Abante.
Mr. Presiding Officer, Tingog Party List votes for Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Akop. Acosta.
For the 3rd District of Palawan, we vote for Speaker Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez.
Adyong.
The 1st District of the Province of Lanao del Sur votes Representative Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez for the speakership.
Advincula.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on behalf of the 3rd Legislative District of Cavite, I vote for Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez for Speaker. Thank you.
Agarao.
Ang boto ko po ay para kay Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Agyaw.
From the Lone District of Kalinga, ang boboto ko po si Speaker Romualdez.
Alano.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. From the Lone District of Basilan, I cast my vote in favor of Representative Ferdinand Martin Romualdez.
Alba.
Mr. Presiding Officer, from the 1st District of Bukidnon, I cast my vote in favor of the Honorable Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez for Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Albano.
Mr. Presiding Officer, this humble representation of the 1st District of the Province of Isabela votes for a man for all season, a good leader and a good friend to all and a visionary, and one of the best public servants that I've ever seen and honored to meet. I vote for the representative of the 1st District of the Province of Leyte, Honorable Ferdinand Martin Gomez Romualdez.
Almario Chino Miguel.
From the 2nd District of the Province of Davao Oriental, this representation humbly votes for Honorable Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez as Speaker of the House.
Almario Dennis.
From Makati City, 2nd District, I voted for Representative Ferdinand Martin Romualdez as our House Speaker. Thank you very much.
Almonte.
For the 1st District of Misamis Occidental, Speaker Martin Romualdez for the speakership.
Alvarez Jose.
Mr. Presiding Officer, from the 2nd District of Palawan, we vote for Representative Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez as the Speaker. Thank you.
Alvarez Mercedes.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I vote for Representative Romualdez.
Amante.
Mr. Presiding Officer, from the 3rd District of Laguna, I vote for Speaker Martin Romualdez. He is the best man for the job. Congratulations.
Well, what you just witnessed is this time Congress or the House of Representatives voting for the speakership. You had Congressman Marcos and Ronaldo Puno, Congressman Emano and Congressman Mendoza all seconding the nomination for Speaker Romualdez. And the way it's going is we might have a runaway victory again for Speaker Romualdez and to retain his position as House Speaker as expected. In the meantime, counting of votes is ongoing and we'll have the results soon after. But in the moment, we'll be back with you. More stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on the One News. And with the fourth State of the Nation address just hours away, President Bongbong Marcos has made headlines over several critical issues. In agriculture, his campaign promise to lower rice prices to 20 pesos per kilo has shown progress, with select Kadiwa stores now offering rice at the price through the Benteng Bigas Meron Na project. On tax policy, the Marcos administration continues to push for new revenue-generating measures, including a 12% value-added tax on foreign digital services and proposed taxes on luxury items and single-use plastics as part of its medium-term fiscal strategy. In infrastructure, the government, under the Build Better More program, approved 190 major projects worth 9 trillion pesos, including the inauguration of Phase 1 of the Cavite extension of LRT-1. Meanwhile, Malacanang said that the president is open to discussions on the possibility of the Philippines rejoining the International Criminal Court. The arrest of Pastor Apollo Kibuloy has also drawn public attention. The religious leader, long wanted by U.S. authorities for alleged trafficking and other crimes, was taken into custody by Philippine authorities last September. And of course, to provide more insights in the chaos, we have with us Richard Heydarian. Yeah, where there is chaos, there is Richard. Hashtag.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Okay, Richard, last year, there were several key promises by President Bongbong Marcos. So, did you see any of them come to fruition?
Well, ganito na lang. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of discussion of the perspiration part. Ano yung mga grocery list na mga gagawin niya, mga projects niya. But what he needs is also inspiration, right?
Yeah.
What are going to be the fireworks and big announcements to rally the nation, to build up his support, and to win over many Filipinos who are still not fully convinced with this administration? Now, given na yung Duterte base, wala na yan, sunog na yan.
Yeah.
Let's just be very clear about it. Kalaban na yan, basically, and they're already preparing for 2028. If not earlier, getting rid of Marcos, and they're saying Marcos is a lame dog. If Marcos doesn't go big, he risks looking like a lame dog. So,
Wait, Richard, pasok natin si Angel. She'll join us.
Sure, please.
Angel, come in.
Hi, we're still here at the Batasan Pabasa Complex, wherein all eyes are here for the fourth State of the Nation address of President Bongbong Marcos. So, anong pinag-uusapan niyo dyan? Kasi dito, nagpuntahan na, nakakita na tayo ng ilang mga lawmakers dito sa North Wing of Batasan Pambansa Complex. Nakita natin si Congressman Chel Jokno, former Congressman Erin Tanyada was also here, and other members of the House. Kanina dumaan na kasi right now ongoing, natapos na yung roll call dun sa House of Representative at nananatili nga uncontested yung leadership ni House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Kanina, nakita din natin sa over to the Senate, nakita rin natin yung naging botohan doon at si Senator Chis Escudero pa rin yung tinalagang Senate President doon. Over 19 votes, 5 votes lamang ang nakuha ni Senator Tito Soto. So far, yun muna yung nangyayari dito sa House of Representatives, wherein itong North Wing na to ay wala ang red carpet, although nandito pa rin ang iba't ibang mga ahensya ng media para mag-interview at mag-cover nga nitong fourth State of the Nation address. So far, yun pala nga nangyayari dito.
Tingnan nga natin. Walang physical red carpet, pero yung treatment, tingnan natin kung meron. Richard, hold a thought about what I asked you. What I want to ask you is about what happened sa Congress and Senate today. Yeah. What does this tell you? What's going to happen in these next 2 years by seeing Speaker Romualdez on his way to getting back the speakership and Senator Chis Escudero solidifying his role as Senate President?
So, the big picture is we have had a historical reversal kung saan mas stable yung leadership, it seems, doon sa lower house or the Congress kumpara doon sa upper house or the Senate. In the Senate, the situation has been quite fluid, to put it mildly. Nevertheless, in the meantime, I think because of the Supreme Court ruling, it kind of perhaps vindicated or at least put some wind in the wings of Chis Escudero, who has been raising skepticism about the impeachment process.
Yes.
So perhaps that explains why he was able to head off itong Tito Soto challenge. But that's for now.
He only got 5.
Exactly. So it's going to be a very, but for me, the only solid in the Senate is the 7 Duterte supporters solid. The rest, I think, it's going to be a fluid going on. Speaking of fluid, I mean, you have Bam and Kiko and Risa in one frame, but on different side of the bench.
You mentioned you have the 7 solid, so you're saying out of the 19, that 7 solid, you will see a lot that will happen as their own agendas come out.
We're talking about 24 republics, right? So it just happened because of historical reasons and the strength of the Duterte ideology. Meron ka mga 5, 6, 7 na solid na Duterte-based talaga na senators there. But the rest, they're single republics. I mean, so single that we don't have Bam and Kiko and Risa together.
You know, it's really interesting because I remember historically, you were saying it also na ang pag-alam ko, pag sinabi mong Congress, talaga ang shifting ng leadership, grabe.
I mean, let's remember, yung
diba?
SONA, was it 2018? Hindi natin alam. Sino ba? Is it Pantaleon Alvarez pa rin? Is it Arroyo? Like,
nawala yung roster.
It was a mess. I would say since the Venetia, this is the most stable, perhaps, leadership we have, considering the fact that Romualdez took a big hit from the Duterte side, right? In terms of, syempre, yung articles of impeachment, the whole tambalos-los back and forth. For him to have close to what, 300?
300.
and barely anyone losing dun sa team who were behind the Quadcom hearings and all. Only one loss at hindi yata, I think, governor ang pinap. So, for me, considering everything, this is a very impressive consolidation and preservation of power by Romualdez. I don't know if he has higher ambitions for national office, but so far, pagdating sa Speaker of the House, he seems to be a master choreographer.
Solid. Tsaka uncontested yung leadership niya dito. Talagang wala na. Wala nga lumaban
Walang
sa kanya.
ibang
But
na-nominate, di ba,
Richard,
Angel? Walang ibang na-nominate, no? Siya lang.
I mean, I already tried
wala. But I wanna ask
to make some
Richard.
feelers, but in the
Wala.
end, she had to give up. Yep.
Yeah, oo. Yeah, I want to ask Richard also, no, well, it came us with no surprise dun sa nangyari doon sa Senate, ano, dahil yun na yung pinag-uusapan pa rin na talagang si Senator Escudero, yung mananatiling Senate President doon. At yun nga, finally, nakita na rin natin yung dalawa, si Senator Kiko Pangilinan at saka Senator Bam Aquino will really join a majority. No? Tingin natin, makikita natin dito yung talagang mahahawakan nila yung kanilang mga gustong committee.
Well, I mean, please, thank you for putting me in trouble again. I know I ruffled a lot of feathers in another side of the equation when I said, sana naman, tatlo na nga lang sila, nagsama pa sila, di ba? But it looks like the priority, it looks for Bam and Kiko is to get as much things as done as possible so that just in case if one of them or both of them have higher office in mind in 2028, want to run for VP, want to run for presidency, maipakita sila. I think the success of Bongo, Senator Bongo with the whole Malasakit project, I mean, hindi niya pera yun, but his project niya just shows you na baka ito yung pinaka-political appealing. I think we had no less than former Vice President Leni Robredo, who's considered some see as a potential presidential, but also saying that we really have to be pragmatic. And I think when she says pragmatic, it doesn't mean na trapo. It means that dapat may deliverables ka pag tumakbo ka come 2028.
You use a good word, trapo. I'd like to ask you, Senator Bam, Senator Kiko, do you see them now towing the line of yung mga policies or saletak ng Pangulo with regards to just bowing down and following what we all know naman what happens there? Do you see them towing the line or will they have their own independence despite of being in the majority?
Well, we don't know what's the quid pro quo. I mean, is it because friends lang sila ni Cheese, like, come join me and we're gonna be fine? It looks like Cheese didn't need them to form the majority.
Yeah, no matter
it's
what,
decisive,
yeah.
right? So is there gonna be something in exchange for them? I mean, I don't think there's free lunch in politics, right? So if you're gonna get chairmanship with big budget and all of that, I think the minimum expectation is if yung DDS7 do some would find questionable hearings or activities, you're expected to keep mum because it's kind of weird to attack your fellow majority members,
That's right.
So I think at the very least union compromise. But there could be more. There could be some legislative agenda and other things that Cheese might push for. And if you're part of majority, you have to toe the line. I find it fanciful for people to say you can be minority within majority. The hegemonic bloc within the majority is going to be the DDS7. They're going to determine how Cheese is going to move forward. So that means you have to go with the flow. And that's why some of us were saying, parang medyo weird na Risa will be on the other side and you guys will be on this side. Nevertheless, this is Philippine politics. This is in our Game of Thrones situation. Maybe they might try to make this work. The other question is also, of course, I mean, Riza Ontiveros has been in minority since ever. She chose to be still in minority even from the transition from Mig Zubiri to Chiz Escudero. But can anyone question her effectiveness? I don't think so.
No.
So I think the argument of Kiko and Bam, to be fair to them, would be, well, iba kasing priorities niya eh. Kami kasi, pagkain, edukasyon, dito kailangan mo talaga ng direct access, di ba? And you only could get that if it's Chiz Escudero. But let me just end on this point. For me to say, as long as they're just pro the trial, and that's good enough, I think that's not good enough. I think you have to look at the holistic performance they're gonna have in the majority. Because, okay, so what you're for the trial? Anyway, alam mo naman mukhang hindi mangyayari.
That's the question of the day.
Madali lang naman. I think hindi naman mangyayari. Most likely yung trial maybe next year, who knows? Maybe the motion for reconsideration work. But I think that's a low bench. That's a low benchmark to say, basta pro-trial sila, okay na. No. What are they gonna say if, let's say, Marcoleta in the Blue Ribbon Committee pushes for a certain hearing na Riza doesn't agree with, right?
Yeah,
or let's say Bato pushes for certain law that completely goes against principles of liberal
democracy. That's why I was asking that.
Then you expect Bam and Kiko go guns blazing, and you're still part of majority. I mean, I'm just saying, let's just dispense with Mickey Mouse theories, right? This is politics. Politics can be brutal.
Richard, I want to ask also kasi, di ba, nakita nga natin yung kasi ruling in favor sa partido ng mga Duterte. And we're also thinking na dapat ba na sundin ito ng Senate or ituloy nila yung kanilang impeachment trial like what Senator Joel Villanueva has just said. na maaari nilang ituloy itong trial
even
ng
Senator Tito
impeachment
Soto.
contrary doon sa naging
Yeah.
desisyon ng SC.
A lot of them toyed with that idea.
Yeah. Well, I think, first of all, every branch wants to assert their prerogative. So prerogative ng House of Representatives is yung articles of impeachment transmitting it, right? Prerogative ng Senate is a trial. Prerogative of the Supreme Court is final arbiter in terms of interpretation of the Constitution. Now, if the Senate pushes ahead, they have to justify it. One way is to say, if there's a motion for reconsideration, they say, hindi pa naman final, so we will exercise our prerogative. But I more agree with people like Justice Carpio are saying, why not file the motion for reconsideration? If that was struck down, then I don't think it's a good idea for Senate to force the point, because then you'll go into a constitutional crisis. Having said that, I want to also hear from President Marcos Jr. because you had clear
If he talks about it.
if I rather
should he?
he should say something about it. I mean, he cannot be like an ostrich pretending there's nothing happening. I think, was it Claire Castro? You said Claire Castro said something like, we respect but we disagree. So what does that mean? Where does the president stand? Remember, these are all co-equal branches. So where does the president stand as the representative of the executive, right? Because some are saying this is a judicial overreach.
Yeah.
Some are saying, no, you have to respect the Supreme Court. The Malacanang saying we respect it but we disagree.
But you know,
so ano ba talaga, di ba?
You, Richard, Malacanang disagreed, but the president in nature as a individual character has agreed na wala dapat impeachment. So it's very confusing sa tao. Ano ba messaging nyo? Because the office we might disagree, but the president himself as a person agrees na wala dapat impeachment.
Well, you were talking about the president who always says he doesn't want to pick a fight, a president who says, I don't want to I don't want to do X, Y, and Z, and yet where is Kiboloy now? Where is Digong now, right? So there are also some people saying that you shouldn't take, you should take BBM's words with a grain of salt, that he will project a kind of a collegial, conciliatory position, but it's the actions of the executive branch that really matter. So we also don't know what are the machinations behind the scenes. Let's not forget, it's not like the Senate
Richard,
President and the Malacanang don't have any dynamic at all.
ng presidente, pero sa likod iba ang ginagawa.
And remember, the Speaker of the House is a cousin of the President too. Sandro Marcos was one of the first person to sign the impeachment. I think we should not pretend that there's some interlocking networks of influence.
So you would agree that Marcos Jr.'s playbook is that of his father, because his father was also the great negotiator. But the function of the executive during his time was different.
Well, depends which. Are you talking about pre-martial law or post-martial law, Marcos? Obviously, you cannot compare to martial law, Marcos, because there was no democracy to begin with. No, I think for President Marcos, his first challenge is yung immediate thing. Explain to us why the flood control projects are not working.
Question of the day.
Explain to us why the 1 percentage point daw, kasi 5% naman yung 1%, yung 20%, whatever. Why yun lang? Pwede mo naman i-zoom lang kay Trump yan, di ba? You could have just sent him a big, beautiful letter and say, you're the greatest president and he'll give you 1%. Kung yun lang naman makuha natin. I think he has to explain those things and then lay down a bigger narrative na legacy years ko na to, eto mga kailangan ko gawin, tulungan niyo ako because my success is the success of the nation.
Yeah.
Yung mga hater ko, wala akong magagawa dyan. Pero sana naman the majority of Filipinos will be with me because for me, this is really a make or break situation for the president because the line is already he's becoming a lame dog. His approval rating
Tail end na. Tail end is the last 3 years.
Exactly.
Richard.
Yep.
I want to ask nga kasi nga we're in the middle of his term now. Ang tanong dito, may naipakita na ba along the way na legasiya si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos o wala pa rin?
His narrative could actually plausibly could be this. Ang dami kong gustong gawin, kaso inaaway ako eh. Tingnan mo naman, sinasabi na papatayin ako, papatayin niya asawa ko, di ba? Ginugulo yung bansa eh. You had Claire Castro, at least on my platform, saying, medyo nagdi-destabilize na yung kabila.
Let me add to that. Legacy, could his legacy be he's the one who put PRRD in The Hague and he put Pastor Apollo Quiboloy in jail?
Yun nga, except, if your name is Ferdinand Marcos, I don't know, fighting for human rights and rule of law is...
Conflicting.
Medyo, I won't say it's on brand. But, it could also be, if later on he says, we'll rejoin the ICC because I believe in rule of law, right? Then maybe he's gonna go for a big
If he does
rebrand.
that, could he redeem his brand?
Hindi lang redeem, totally rebranding na yan.
Just by the move
totally
of
rebranding,
accepting the ICC back.
Yeah, remember, he already did the first rebranding when he fought for West Philippine Sea and all of that. Everyone was expecting him to be soft on China, Duterte-esque on West. He didn't. And kaya nga love siya ng mga Western capitals. I've been to Europe 3 times in the past 3 months. All the capitals love him. But that's just on the West Philippine Sea issue. What about on human rights issues? What about rule of law issues? So if he signals something big and positive on that front, who knows? Even some of the pinks and progressive might say, yeah, maybe BBM is not our number one choice, but we want him to succeed in the next 2-3 years because at least this is the best we can get from the current circumstances.
If he gets the ICC back, do you think the ICC will now in the future, there's also that, you can entertain that idea naman that they might go after the past human rights abuses.
Sure.
Will they drop it now if he becomes friendly towards them?
Well, last time I checked, the jurisdiction is from the time we signed the Rome Statute and onward. So this is pre-2011.
So we're saying he's safe.
No,
he's safe.
Well, if you're talking about the Marcos Senior legacy and all of that, they're basically safe. I don't think
Okay, Richard, let's talk about the upcoming 4th State of the Nation address of PBBM. Nagaganapin nga later ng 4 p.m. Last year, ang naging highlight ng kanyang speech ay yung pagban niya ng Pogo.
Yeah.
No? This year, ano kaya yung pinaka-highlight niya? Would it be about online gaming?
It has to. It has to.
You think he'll end with that? Pièce de résistance niya?
I think he'll try to split the difference. Maybe my suggestion would have been call for suspension. Pag-aralan natin.
So not ban or regulate?
Kasi I'm sure there are people, malaki kasing revenues for
eh.
government eh.
Yeah.
Diba? And we have a fiscal crunch.
That's right.
Kaya nga may 20% pa dinagdag dun sa interest ng long-term ganun na si Ronald Llamas kung anong nilabas nito. But anyway, my point is, he can split the difference to play it safe, no? But still do to say, okay, suspend muna tayo lahat yan, pag-aralan natin, mukhang mataas yung social cost. Or he could go all the way and just say total ban because we have seen enough. Kasi grabe yung mga kwento na
But he has to end this SONA as resounding as he ended the last SONA. Mas lalo nung Richard kasi very critical this SONA. It's because this is the midterm SONA na tinatawag nila. This is the tail end. This is the legacy building.
Yeah.
What will be this pièce de résistance? He needs that same amount of gusto from the other lawmakers.
Yeah, absolutely. He has to rally the troops.
So it's a rally cry. It's not something like, I will do this, I will do that.
Yeah, he's gonna do the grocery list, but I don't think that will inspire people.
Wala nang...
Magaling naman siya mag-ganun eh. Yung, he's a good speaker. I mean, in terms of, not spontaneous, but in terms of big speeches. But I think there are parts na dapat mag-Tagalog na lang siya. Kausapin niya yung taong bayan, medyo mas personal. Yun kasi mahirap eh. President Rodrigo Duterte may not be my favorite in terms of rhetorical style.
But he connected.
But he was really good in connecting, right?
He connected.
Yung spontaneity niya, yung talking straight to the people. Pinoy was the first president who spoke diretsong Filipino.
Yeah.
So when you come after those two presidents, who by the way had very high approval rating at this stage, both were 60-70% or even more.
I think he's lower now. It's BBM.
BBM is way lower than those two. Maybe you want to get some tricks from their playbook, diba? Which is mag-switch ka sa Tagalog, kausapin mo yung taong bayan, ilabas mo na hindi lang ito scripted na binabasa ko ng shopping list. Mahal ko kayo, naiwala ako sa ating demokrasya. Please give me more chance. Nahirapan, maraming nangyaring drama. But if we can focus just on the work that we have ahead of us in the next 3 years, we will leave the country in a better place in 2 to 3 years from now. Dapat ganun yung narrative building eh. So that's why I'm saying it cannot just be perspiration. There has to be inspiration.
That's what I wanted to ask you. You said there has to be inspiration, but do you think he can get that inspiration? Richard, let's face it, maingay itong presidency na to. There's a lot of political noise. I don't think it will end. It's going to continue from the Dutertes, from the other side.
Yeah.
Can he build this legacy despite of all the noise?
Well, he has to build the legacy through the noise, right? He has to bulldozer his way. The Dutertes are not gonna go away.
Yeah.
Even if Sara were to be impeached, even if hindi naman tapos ang mga Dutertes, you
Masiingay
still
pa
have
yan.
Bongo there, you still have Bato there. Dutertismo is a movement. 20 to 40% of the population are amenable to the whole idea of a Duterte-style
Do you
president.
liken it to the MAGA of the US?
Yeah, exactly. By the way, I'm not drawing moral equation.
No.
Baka ma-persona ng grata naman ako.
Movement.
But I'm saying it is a solid movement,
Yeah.
right? So anong pangtapat mo doon? Because the Pinks also have their own, around 10 to 20%.
Yeah, the pink wave.
So hindi naman pwedeng loyalista in the 1970 sense. So the president, I think his instinct is a technocratic kind of effect. But kailangan, mga Pinoy tayo, we need something more inspirational, hindi lang technocratic eh. Something more relatable. And I think that's going to be the challenge for President Marcos Jr. He should project humility, but he should also project decisiveness. Yun yung kulang sa...
Keyword.
So you kept on comparing him to his father, right? his father did not lack in projecting decisiveness.
He was very...
Sometimes a bit too much, I would say, to put it mildly. He's not, I mean, I'm Ilocano, right? So a lot of Ilocano, he's more Romualdez daw. Yung malumanay, very gentleman, very statesman.
Yeah.
Kasi Marcos is very tough sila.
Yeah.
Very tough sila, diba? So my sense is, we have to see both the Romualdez and Marcos in him. He has to show that dexterity to get the best out of his speech. So this could be arguably his most important speech and the game changer.
Ano ba in-expect nyo? Yeah, Angel, go ahead.
I wanna also ask kasi kung anong nakikita niyang playbook naman ni Senator Amy Marcos.
Yes.
Earlier, I mean, for a couple of months
That's
ago,
interesting.
narinig natin yung pangalan niya sumulpot sa pagiging
Speaker.
Senate President.
Senate President.
Well, naman, hindi naman yun natuloy. But right now, making sure na talagang solid yung foundation ng unity, yung foundation ng friendship or relationship nila ng Duterte. Anong playbook naman ngayon na makikita natin this time around with Senator Amy Marcos?
Well, as I always say, Amy is for Amy, but having said that, it's a complicated picture for her. So if you look at the 2025 elections, actually Solid North still was the basis of
So that
her
was
success.
Solid North?
That was Solid North. In
not...
fact, you were in Ilocos, you would see pictures of her and her brother together. So it's not true. So sa Ilocos region and the north of the country, they were still seen as one family.
So even if galit ang mga North sa Duterte block, Amy pa rin din
Amy
nila.
still got the
So
north.
Amy has both? North and
Well,
South?
still the North carried her. So the South was more, I would say, in potential phase, right? Speaking of Amy Marcos, obviously, let's not forget, she just got into the Senate by the skin of her teeth.
Yes.
Not a very resounding victory. 12th siya pumasok. So I don't know how much momentum she has. I think one thing interesting to watch in the coming year or two is what will happen within the Duterte camp. Because assuming Sara Duterte is the standard bearer, who will be the VP? Robin Hood Padilla? Bongo? Bongo wants to be the president. If Sara...
Face off sila.
Exactly. Is it going to be is it going to be Amy? So, because Robin Hood could always make the case that I'm the loyal guy. I number one the Senate race. You're just like number 12. And you're Marcos, by the way. Like, ilang beses pa kami mag-trust ng Marcos, di ba? Like, you get what I'm saying? So Amy actually has a very tough job because she needs the solid north because that's what really keeps her in power. At the same time, how far can she go to win over on the other side when there are already people there like Robin Hood Padilla and Bongo and Bato and all who are already seen as loyal soldiers or at least proven soldiers of the Duterte movement, right? And sons of Davao, sons of Mindanao. So Amy has a very tough situation, actually. I don't know how she's going to navigate it. But the fact that we talk about her means she's relevant. Maybe that's a win in itself.
Pero that's why, interesting topic, Richard. Usually pagka-election, it's always the incumbent versus the so-called opposition. It's very confusing sa akin ngayon. Ano ba ang positioning ngayon? Because sa Duterte block, you have them infighting. So malamang their votes will be divided.
Right.
Who will benefit from this? Will it be Leni Robredo's movement? Will it be PBBM's movement?
So you have many scenarios, but for me, assuming Sara goes all the way to 2028, it could really go down between Sara versus a combined forces of administration, progressives, and pinks, maybe under Leni. That's the... And some surveys suggest Leni could actually win in that face-to-face
mataas siya.
scenario. Some survey would say, but we can have a long conversation about the surveys. But you can also have another situation whereby the pinks and progressive get split. Some are anti-Duterte more than anti-Marcos. Never Marcos versus... And if that gets split, then maybe Sara can get just enough from one side, and then President BBM might not end up having any really viable candidate. Then I think the Dutertes will be back in 2028. So in short, ang pinks and progressive, they don't have the numbers to be a hegemonic bloc, but they have enough numbers to be at the very least kingmakers. And if they play their cards well in the next 2-3 years, they could even end up as the king or the queen.
But Richard, are we seeing ba na may alliances between the Pink Progressive and the Marcos bloc ngayon?
I think that's far from settled.
I
think that's far from settled. I think this whole Risa, Bam, Kiko situation na hindi man lang sila in one block right now and they're different signaling about what should be done, that tells you that I'm not ruling out some tensions down the road here, right? Because remember, Riza Ontiveros is a very different kind of opposition from, let's say, BAM or Leni, right? There are already conversations about the Leni-BAM tandem, right? So basically, box out Riza altogether. But there are many people who believe in Riza that she is the future. So it's like in the Democrats, right? Do you want an AOC Bernie Sanders as a future Democrat Party? Or do you want a more Kamala Harris type, right? Medyo similar din yan. Kaya sabi ko, the one risk for the genuine opposition is that baka they get splintered and split. So as early as now, it's good for them to show unity, even if they're on different sides of the bench, right? But this is the Philippines. I think we are good in splitting the difference and making things work, right? So I won't rule out still the Pinks being a major force to reckon with come 2020. And if Marcos doesn't have a strong candidate for 2028, he will have no choice but to support whoever is against Duterte's, because kung bumalik ang mga Duterte, alam natin, it's going to be really hindi naman bloodbath, but something not very ideal for him. Having said that, last point, singit ko lang yan. I know this is gonna sound like crazy. Eto na naman si Richard. He's doing his UFC, hyping up. But watch out for General Torre, right? We have been talking about the Tulfos as one big dark horse for the 2028. But I think General Torre has consistently shown that he has a potential to be also a dark horse. And considering how loyal and effective he has been for President BBM, I won't be surprised in 2 years from now when he's gonna retire as a PNP chief, BBM would say, maybe he's my guy. And Torre could be the next Mindanaoan president. And that would be a very interesting situation. Again, I'm just saying, we're looking at scenarios here. Magagalit naman mata. Ito naman si Richard, nag-hype siya ng tao. But I'm just saying, the situation is far more fluid than people saying, Sara na naman yan, tapos na yan. Pag hindi mo ma-impeach si Sara, panalo na siya. I think that's a very simplistic, deterministic way of reading Philippine politics, which is far more exciting and fluid.
And you never know kasi what could happen in the future. Ang daming pwedeng mag-emerge
And
in the next 3 years, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Interesting point, Richard, kasi may movement nga talaga ngayon si General Torre. But thank you for your time and insights, because I heard you're on your way to Batasan.
Yeah, I'll join the rest of the team there shortly.
Yeah, thank you for your time, for your insights, geopolitical analyst Richard Haydayan, for joining us here on the program.
Salamat. Thank you very much. You can just say vlogger na lang. See you guys.
All right, let's go now to the House of Representatives to see what is happening right now on the
God
voting.
bless po.
Gutierrez,
Romualdez.
Hernandez, Charisse Ann,
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. This representation votes in favor of Representative Romualdez to be the Speaker of the 20th Congress. Thank you.
Hernandez Dennis,
From 4th District of Rizal, I vote for Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Hernandez Ferdinand,
Second District, South Cotabato, I vote for Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez.
Hernandez Ramil,
From the 2nd District of Laguna, I vote Speaker Martin Romualdez. Thank you.
Hofer Asim,
From the 2nd District of Zamboanga, Sibugay, I cast my vote for Honorable Ferdinand Martin Romualdez.
Oribata,
From the 1st District of Camarines Sur, I vote for Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez as the Speaker of the House. Salamat po.
Ismula,
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wal barakatuhu. Akbayan Party List Representative votes to abstain. Thank you.
EY,
From the 1st District of Negros Oriental, my vote goes to Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Javier,
Maupay nga aga haaton nga tanan, the 2nd District of Leyte votes honorable.
Daphne,
I vote for Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Lagon Sani.
On behalf of Ako Bisaya Party List, I vote for the Honorable Martin G. Romualdez as the Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 20th Congress. Thank you.
Lara.
Balo, Presiding Officer. As a representative of the 3rd District of Cagayan, I vote for Honorable Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez as the Speaker of the 20th Congress. Mabalo.
Lezatin.
Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News with our current coverage of the 4th State of the Nation address of President Bongbong Marcos. Now, Senator Francis Cheese Escudero takes his oath as re-elected Senate President. Escudero took his oath earlier today before Senator Pia Cayetano. He was accompanied by his wife, Heart Evangelista, and his 2 children, Chessy and Kino. SP Escudero won against another candidate for speakership for the Senate presidency, Senator Tito Soto. Let's now head on over to the Batasang Pambansa, where the President will deliver his 4th SONA. For the latest, let's bring in mobile journalist Amy Atienza. Amy, kamusta na ang preparation dyan sa area?
Well, Diego, tuloy-tuloy nga nagiging preparations dito sa Batasang Pambansa Complex, no? Dito sa area na to, actually ito yung labas ng plenary session, makikita rin naman natin na uncontested yung naging nomination for House Speakership ni former House Speaker at pati na rin re-elected late 1st District Representative Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez. At hanggang ngayon, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung nagiging botohan para nga makita natin kung papasok ba or para lang ma-prove yung nomination ni House Speaker ni Martin Romualdez. And so far dito, syempre abangan natin na matapos yan. Inaasahan nila na around 12 noon matatapos yung magiging botohan dito for House Speakership and also kung kakayanin yung sa majority leadership and minority leadership. And also, bukod pa dyan, syempre, abangan din natin yung magiging State of the Nation address nga ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na mangyayari yan mamayang hapon. And dito sa area na to, syempre, medyo kalmado pa naman yung sitwasyon pero marami na rin talaga ang nag-aabang. Makikita rin natin sa labas na may namumuong mga rallies pero dito sa House of Representatives ay okay pa naman sitwasyon. Very strict ang security dito and also syempre para dun sa mga pupunta. Syempre hindi pwede nang wala ka ng mismong ID for the State of the Nation address. Diego?
Amy, comparatively, no, sa experience mo dyan, would you say na mas subdued o mas simple ang naging preparation? Kasi dati meron tayong food staging area, may red carpet, ang daming reporters, not only regular reporters but yung mga entertainment reporters.
Yes, actually, kung makikita rin naman natin, i-compare natin sa nangyari last year, siyempre nawala talaga yung red carpet. So that's one part na talagang very significant na wala na ngayon. And also, nasabi din naman ng House na this is also a way para nga mag-sympathize sa nangyari nga habagat at pati na rin typhoon noong nakaraang linggo. So yun yung mga bagay na nangyayari dito. And also, Diego, no, kung mapapansin din natin, mas konti na yung naging India. Well, marami pa rin naman. Pero kung tulad ng nasabi mo, may mga entertainment media persons dito. Ngayon, more on the people na nagko-cover lang talaga for the House, for the Senate, and also for the Palace. And bukod pa dyan, actually, ang inaalaw lang din nila inside the plenary session are yung mga media personnel nung mismong congressmen and also limited lang. So yun nga, nililimit nila kasi inside the plenary session, bawal na may makikitang nakatayo bukod dun sa, syempre, yung mga cameraman. So yung mga taong inside the plenary session, limited yung movement din na pwede gawin dahil nga bawal maglabas-pasok and also bawal tumayo ng matagal dun sa loob ng plenary hall.
Amy, may nakita ka na bang mga personalities na dumating dyan? And what time do you expect most of the guests to arrive?
Sino, Diego, dito ay yung mga, siyempre, member ng House of Representatives kanina nakapanayam din ng 1PH si Attorney Shell Jokno, and syempre nasabi niya nga din yung wish list niya para sa lapit na SONA. Andito din yung kasama niya, syempre sa Akbayan Party si Percy Sendanya. And also, nakita na rin natin, syempre, si House Speaker Ferdinand Festival, 20th Congress House Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez. So sila pa lang so far, pero kung pagdating naman sa mga notable na personalities, abangan pa natin sila. And most likely nga, pag na-clear out na, natapos na yung first session ng 20th Congress dito, saka pa lang sila magsisidatingan dahil na ina-expect natin na mamayang hapon pa magsisimula yung State of the Nation address ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos.
Alright, Amy, just keep us updated kung ano yung mga kaganapan mangyayari dyan. For the meantime, thank you, mobile journalist Amy Atienza, reporting live from Batasang, Pambansa. Now, members of progressive groups have started to gather around for their SONA protest. Let's get the latest on the ground from mobile journalist Evan Tarinque now in Quezon City. Evan, kamusta na dyan? Where are you right now specifically, and what is happening?
Yes, Diego. Currently, nandito tayo sa Quezon Memorial Circle, no, kung saan kakatapos lang actually nung pagkilos protesta nung ilang mga progressive groups dito kanina. Nung maaga pa lang, actually, nandito na sila. Bandang around 7 a.m., nandito na sila, nagsimula na yung kanilang program. No, syempre kasama dyan iba't ibang grupo. No, kanina may andyan yung grupong Alyansa Makabayan, Gitnang Luzon, sa harapan ng Department of Agrarian Reform. Bit nila yung kanilang mga placard at sinisigaw yung kanilang hingi ng tulong, lalo na daw sa mga magsasakang naapektuhan ng matinding pag-uulan at baha, no, dahil yun nga, no, sunod-sunod daw yung pagtaas ng tubig sa kanila. Kaya naman yung mga kanilang palay nagkanda sira-sira. Hindi lang daw kasi, pero dagdag nila, hindi lang tubig yung tumaas, no, dahil tumaas din kasi yung kanilang yung bumaba rin actually yung kanilang kalaban dahil dito daw sa rice tariff law kung saan sinasabi nila na dumami yung kanilang kalaban ng mga bigas na dapat sa kanila na lamang kukunin, no. Actually kanina nagsunod din sila ng FAG dito sa harap ng DAR kung saan yon inapula kaagad ito ng kawani ng BFP ngayong umaga, Diego.
Evan, kasi nakikita ko yung background mo, ang mga videos na pinadala mo, no? Parang comparatively sa last year, parang mas kalmado ngayon. Anong oras ba ang expected peak ng pagdagsa ng mga realista dyan?
Yes, Diego. Ang main program nila, according sa nakuha nating detalye, is around 1 p.m. pa. No? So maya-maya pa, pagkatapos after lunch. Kasi kanina, actually, ganito na itsura niya ngayon eh. Ito, makikita natin. Pakita lang natin. Medyo maluwag na to.
So
kanina.
Wala pang traffic, Evan?
Kanina nagkaroon ng traffic, Diego, no? Nung nandito, nagkikilos protesta sila dito sa harap pa ng DAR. Ito makita talaga as in mabigat yung daloy ng traffic.
Is that Commonwealth? Towards Fairview ba itong Commonwealth nakikita ko?
Ito ay towards North Visayas Avenue.
Oh, okay,
ito papuntang Visayas Avenue.
Okay.
So nandito sila kanina, so around 2-3 lanes yung kanilang actually na kinain na lanes, no? So malaki talaga yung kinain nilang daanan. So nakita yung significant na pagbigat ng trapiko. Actually kanina, doon papunta dito sa circle, kung galing kang North, kung galing kang Fairview, mabigat na yung daloy ng trapiko dahil na rin yan doon sa zipper lane na inilatag kanina umaga. Diego?
So until later, Evan, ma-expect natin bibigat at bibigat pa ang traffic habang palapit ang oras na pagdating ni President Bongbong Marcos.
Tama ka dyan, Diego. No? Tuloy-tuloy or actually mas expected pa nga yung magiging mabigat na ruta o yung daloy ng trapiko, lalo na bago pa magsimula itong SONA. No? Kanina nga nakita na talaga natin yung build-up ng mga sasakyan galing Fairview papunta dito sa may Quezon City Circle. Kaya pinayuhan na rin ng mga otoridad na maghanap ng iba't ibang mga alternate routes para hindi na nga ma-effect na traffic. Plus, Diego, sarado din yung daanan sa may bandang Batasan, yung IBP Road. No? So, pwedeng iwasan na yan, Diego.
Alright, stay safe, Evan. Keep us updated. We'll get back to you later. Thank you, mobile journalist Evan Tarinque, for that live report. Let's take you now to Angel. Angel. Angel, go ahead.
Oh, hi Diego. We're still here at the Batasang Pambansa Complex wherein all eyes are here. Tulad ng nabanggit ko kanina dahil sa magaganap na fourth State of the Nation address si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Mamaya mga bandang alas 4. At the moment sa House of Representatives, meron pa rin mga pagtalakay doon na nangyayari aside doon sa pagboto bilang House Speaker pa rin si Martin Romualdez at may ulat din na nag-walk out itong Duterte block, no, if I'm not mistaken. Ito, check ko lang
Yes, headed by
So
Congressman
may ulat
Pulong.
din na nag-walk out ang Duterte block, which is si Paulo Duterte, Omar Duterte and Harold Duterte doon dito sa nung botohan ng House Speakership. No, so right now again nandito pa rin tayo. Nothing much has really happened here so far at this time. Nakakita lang tayo ng ibang mga diplomats, mga nandito na dumadating and other members of the Congress, mga employees. No?
Nawawala ang signal, Angel.
Earlier dito sa
Angel,
sa
nawawala
North
signal
Wing
mo.
ng Batasa, wala carpet. Ay kayo makibagay doon sa nangyayari dito sa atin sa bansa. Na recently kasi nakagupit ang ating bansa ng mga pag-ulan dulot nga ng habagat at ni Typhoon Christine at ganoon din ni Typhoon Dante at Emong. So right now, nung last year rather, noong 2024, kung saan ang sinabi ni PBBM, Bagong Pilipinas has arrived, nag-focus ang kanyang naging talumpati noon sa, of course, sa agri, sa food security, customs enforcement, ganoon din sa West Philippine Sea issue, economy and investments, infrastructure, education, healthcare, peace, governance, and of course, yung naging highlight doon yung pag-pogo ban niya. So right now, aasahan din natin mamaya kung ano-ano pa yung mga kanyang magiging ulat, no? Yung score ng
Malabo ata yung signal. Angel, yung signal mo is choppy.
blueprint naman.
Angel, wait.
Can you hear me right now?
Yeah,
Diego?
medyo malabo signal, but let's take it over muna to Merimon at the Senate habang inaayos natin yung signal mo. Merimon, go ahead.
Magandang tanghali. Out of 24 senators, 19 ang bumoto para manatili sa pagiging Senate President itong si Chis Escudero ngayong 20th Congress. At kabilang sa mga bumoto dito o sa kanya ay sina Senator Joel Villanueva, Senator Bato de la Rosa, Sherwin Gatchalian at pare-pareho sila sa kanilang mga naging motion. Ang nasabi nila kalidad daw at maaasahan ang liderato ni Escudero, lalong-lalo na raw pagdating sa mabibigat na issue tulad nga nitong impeachment case laban kay VP Sara Duterte. Sa botohan din kanina para sa liderato, nakumpirma na rin na ito nga sina Senadora Bam Aquino pati Kiko Pangilinan ay magiging bahagi na nga ng Senate majority. Pero paliwanag ni Senator Pangilinan, hindi raw siya kakampi ng administrasyon. Ito ay para raw sa agriculture sector na kanyang adhikain, kung saan bukas daw siyang makipagtrabaho sa kahit na sino para raw sa ikabubuti nito. At pero ang sabi niya rin, hindi raw nito matitinag ang kanyang pagiging fiercely independent. Samantala, nakakuha ng 5 boto si Senator Tito Soto at dahil dito magsisilbi na siyang minority leader sa Senado kasama sina Senator Mig Zubiri, Loren Legarda, Ping Lacson at Senadora Risa Hontiveros. Si Senator Jingo Estrada naman nanatili bilang Senate President pro tempore at si Senator Joel Villanueva bilang Chairperson on Committee on Rules at Senate Majority Floor Leader. Nananatili rin si Atty. Renato Bantug bilang Senate Secretary. At nabanggit nga natin kanina, part ng minority si Senadora Risa Hontiveros at nagsabi na nga siya na aanib siya sa minorya. Ito yung taliwas sa una niyang mga naging pahayag na siya ay magiging independent. At yan daw ay kahit na magkaiba sila ng pananaw, partikular ni Senator Tito Soto, pagdating sa ilang usapin tulad ng SOGI at saka divorce bills. Pero parehas naman daw sila ng pananaw pagdating sa budget at check and balances. So after nito nga naging pag-eleksyon nila sa liderato, nagkaroon na ng motion to suspend na ang sesyon until 4 p.m. bilang paghahanda na rin sa State of the Nation address si Pangulong Marcos. Balik sa'yo.
Meron kasi what was expected kay Senator Risa Hontiveros, so mag-abstain siya usually kasi yun ang ginagawa So you're saying na parang official yun, she made her vote and she voted for Senator Tito Soto?
Tama yan. Doon sa pagbibilang natin, itong 5 kasama si Senadora Risa Hontiveros. At isa pa nga doon sa kaninang nangyari rin, nung inaasahan na magte-take din ng oath si Senator Tito Soto, nag-decline siya dito kasi hindi na, nung dati rin daw, compared daw doon kay Senator Kiko Pangilinan as majority leader, hindi rin daw siya nag-take ng oath. So parang by culture or by practice, nag-decline si Senator Tito Soto. Pero so far yun yung latest mula dito, buo na ang liderato ng Senado sa 20th Congress.
Merimon, is the Senate still in session right now? Kasi medyo nagbi-build up na daw ang traffic, so it's expected that a lot of the senators should be in a while start going to Batasang Pambansa.
Tama, right after itong election, sinuspend na agad itong kanilang session until 4 o'clock p.m. So asahan na natin pagkatapos na ng quick lunch dito ng mga senator, mga dignitary plus yung kanilang guests o mga kamag-anak, asahan na natin yung pag-alis nila dito sa Senado papunta sa Batasan. So travel time around an hour plus the traffic, kaya minabuti ng aagahan na talagang pagpunta ng mga senador.
Pero linawin ko lang, Merimon, wala pang mga major committees, assignments sa mga major committees.
Wala pa. Ang nabuo lang talaga ngayon, bukod nga doon sa Senate Committee on Rules na si Senator Joel Villanueva nga plus naging Senate Majority Floor Leader, so far yun pa lang yung nabuo ngayon. Yung pagdating doon sa mga komite, sino ang mga mamumuno dito, asahan natin yan sa mga susunod na araw ng sesyon ng Senado.
Pero Merimon, yung supposedly, like for example, yung Blue Ribbon Committee kay Senator Marcoleta, tuloy na yung mga yon. It's just a matter of making it official.
Sorry?
Yung like for example, yung kay Senator Marcoleta, supposedly yung Blue Ribbon sa kanya yon. So tuloy yon pero hindi pa lang official. Ganun ba yon?
Tama yan. Oo. Dahil yun nung kanina, narinig natin simula 10 o'clock a.m. is ito nga naging priority nila, yung pagbubuo ng liderato. Tapos nagkaroon na right after ng motion para nga masuspend na itong kanilang session. So the earliest na iaasahan natin na mag-roll out na itong pag-oorganisa ng mga Senate subcommittees ay by tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you for that. Keep us updated. Mobile journalist Merimon Reyes live from the Senate. Angel, go ahead.
Yes, Jago, yun nga, as I was saying kanina, inaasahan natin sa magiging State of the Nation address si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos today would be yung mga key issues such as inflation, agriculture, climate change, public health care, independent foreign policy, West Philippine Sea.
Yes,
of course, ito yung patuloy pa rin na may impact sa buhay na. And of course, titingnan din na.
Angel? Mukhang signal is getting choppy kasi expected natin may signal jamming dyan that will happen in a while. We're trying to fix our communication lines with Angel. Angel, can you hear me? Well, right now, Angel is live at the Batasang Pambansa, anticipating the beginning of the speech of President Bongbong Marcos, which will happen later on today. The guests are expected to arrive anytime soon, from the senators to the diplomats and dignitaries arriving from now onward. Well, we are at this point, we were talking about certain issues, but let's try and go to, let's talk to JF Rivera. JF? Yes, Jeff, go ahead. Mukhang mga signal natin ay nagbibigay na. Jeff? All right, around 16,000 police officers will be... Okay. Well, we're awaiting, mukhang ang signal natin along the Commonwealth area medyo bumibigay na kasi every year at SONA, it's expected naman na they jam the signal to ensure the safety of the guests. No? So we'll still try to get in touch with Angel and JF and other people around the area. We're working on that right now to get us updates. Angel, let's go back and try with Angel kasi mukhang yung signal is bumibigay na. Angel, go ahead.
Can you hear me right now?
Yes, go ahead, Angel. You were saying.
Yeah, as I was saying kanina, na-expect natin ngayon, of course, sa fourth State of the Nation address si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos ay yung mga key issues that really impact the lives of the Filipinos, such as, of course, yung inflation, agriculture, climate change, public health care, education as well, independent foreign policy, yung usapin tungkol sa West Philippine Sea. Ito yung mga nakikita nating issues na dapat talakayin ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na iyan din ang pulso ng bayan. And of course, yung kung meron bang konkretong plano ang administrasyon na ito pagdating sa flood control projects. Nakita din natin yan na dapat niyang sabihin sa kanyang State of the Nation address. And right now, we're also saying or we're thinking na baka sabihin din niya yung usapin tungkol sa online gambling. No? Bagamat divided ang mga lawmakers, merong sinasabi na i-regulate ang online gambling. Meron ding ibang mga lawmakers na sinasabi total ban. We will see kung ano ang sasabihin, ang konkretong pahayag ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos maya-maya sa kanyang State of the Nation address. So far, I'm still here in the Batasan Pambansa Complex wherein medyo kumakapal na ang mga tao dito, media, mga attendees, of course, mga empleyado dito sa House of Representatives at may mga last-minute preparations pa rin na nangyayari. And right now sa House of Representatives, meron pa rin mga session na nangyayari doon sa loob. And as I've said, walang red carpet ngayon dahil nga tayo ay tumatalima sa sa nangyari sa ating mga kababayan na nasalanta ng bagyo, dulot nga ng habagat at ng iba't ibang mga typhoons this past couple of weeks. So kanina going here, medyo matraffic na rin from Evergotesco going to Saint Paris Church. No, nakita po natin doon na napakarami ng mga pulis ang nakadeploy doon para magbantay ng seguridad doon sa lugar na yon hanggang dito sa House of Representatives. Ang alam natin, ang impormasyon na ating nakalap ay 3 grupo ang inalaw na doon na mag-rally doon sa area na yon. 2 ay anti at 1 ay pro. Pero parang nakakuha din tayo ng impormasyon na sinasabi na mukhang hindi natutuloy yung pro na mag-rally. But nonetheless, tuloy yung ibang mga mag-rally dito and sa iba't ibang mga areas. As I've said earlier, 85 diplomatic corps ang dadating according to DFA, ang ating ahensya doon. At yun muna ang nangyayari dito sa House of Representative Diego.
Yeah, para malinaw, nasa North Wing ka ba?
Yes, nasa North Wing ako ngayon. North Wing and South Wing, walang red carpet dyan. Pero ang pinaka-front kung saan dadaan si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos mamaya ay meron ding red carpet doon.
All right, thank you for that. Good luck and keep us updated. And for now, that wraps up our episode of News and Views, special coverage of the fourth SONA of President Bongbong Marcos.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angelo Castro.
I am definitely Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.